Well, welcome to the first episode of the Homecker series. I've gotten some great input and thank you for that. So I'm going to cut to the chase. We're all just doing what we can. But right now, my whole goal is to make sure you don't waste that food that you have and that you maximize it to feed your family for nourishment, but also have some fun in the kitchen with your family too. So my whole segment now is oh my gosh, I just bought all this meat. All right, first thing we want to do is we want to cook and prepare it, because what happens is that also preserves it. So I know there's people of you out there went out and bought at least 10 to 20 pounds of chicken. So here's the deal. Today we are going to talk about safe chicken handling and do some basics so those kids don't tear the place apart, and something a little unique so that maybe the parents won't tear the place apart. So first thing first, never ever 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 wash your chicken. The only time chicken should be under the faucet is it defrosting. All right, and even then I don't recommend it. I think you should just defrost it in the fridge and call it a day. Yes, these chicken breasts are huge, but you know what, so is your staff, so that's okay too. Now the first thing I do is when I open up a bag of chicken is I cut the top off all the way through and just kind of let it, all the juices and whatnot stay in the bag. Now then, you can totally put this in your sink and wash it down the drain, but I'm always concerned with aerating the chicken juice, because what happens is after the oxygen hits that, all of a sudden pathogens start to grow. Uncle Sal, salmonella starts to grow. That's why you don't want to wash your chicken. You don't want to aerate these microbes in the air so they cling to everything, including your linens, right? And your silverware and your plates. And so just keep everything to a minimal mess. So the next thing is I know everybody's got this half jar of garlic. I'm not judging, I have it. I don't care. I'm not gonna make any, excuses. Sometimes Chef Tommy just wants to do that. This is a perfect time to get rid of that jar of garlic, because we're gonna marinate this whole bag. And then we're gonna do lots of other fun stuff. The next thing is this is a huge opportunity to get rid of those old spices. I always say buy small and buy often, but you know what, I'm a professional, I'm allowed to have this. But there's one thing that you should know is there's some tricks. If you're grabbing some of these herbs that have been dried forever since maybe college, you can totally say a prayer to the spice gods. And what you do is I just put it in my hand and I'm doing this and I'm praying, oh Lord, of the spices, please bring back some of this essence. I know it's been 10 years since I put it in the back of my cupboard, but now I really need you. Well, when you do that with your clean hands, the oils from your hands and the friction are going to release some of that essence, right? Some guys wore, polo back in the college days. Me, I just did this. It's the only game I had. So, I'm using up the rest of the jarred garlic, right? I've got some Italian seasoning. Got some oil. I don't care what kind of oil you have. I'm using olive oil because we're going to be making chicken fingers in a second. And I really, really like the flavor component of that. And lots of salt and pepper, right? So I tell all my good friends that when you season with salt and pepper, do a light dusting, right, over whatever you're doing. I call that my lake effect, because the snow, when it hits the frozen lake and it's Michigan, we just want to sprinkle, 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 right? Now then, you can dig in with your hands and that's totally cool, but you can also just kind of squirm all this fun stuff around. Me, I like to get my hands dirty, so that's what I'm gonna do, because I wanna make sure everybody is nicely coated. So with the Italian seasoning and with the garlic, we're just creating a nice marinade, really a rub, because I'm not adding any acid. And this is gonna be kind of like a hallmark of how I always do my chicken. If I have some older fresh herbs, I totally do that, you know, because they're old fresh herbs. Now then, mom and dad, I know you're feeling it already. I love my Ainsley, but she is asleep right now for the moment. What I do with my chicken breasts to make the tenders is I cut off the knuckle and I'm gonna throw it right back in the marinade because we're not gonna throw nothing out, right? And then I've got a fatter part and a skinnier part of the breast. I don't care how you guys want to cut this up. I just like to know that my muscle striations are like this. I'm gonna cut against that or perpendicular so that when my kid gets into that delicious, yummy tender, she's gonna be able to bite right through it. And I don't care if you do these long or short or what have you, just know that if you do them about 1/2 inch to 1 inch thick, they're gonna cook uniformly, you know, so you don't want like this, oh, okay, this is a chicken finger now. No, you wanna make sure it's uniformly done. Notice, I am using one breast, and we know these big honkers, right? But I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got more than enough chicken tenders to last me for a while. I'm gonna throw that back in there. Now I've got all this yummy love. What I usually do, without the miracle of television, is I do this overnight because then the flavors really meld. But I want to do this for you so that you know what's going on. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Tommy, happy birthday to you. And then I love it having a paper towel right around when I'm cooking with chicken because I don't use any of my towels now that after I'm cooking with chicken, right? I'm gonna throw this up right here. And then here's the secret. 1, gluten-free. 2, bottom of the bag of the chips. You can do potato chips, you can do the breadcrumbs, you can do anything you want. Rice flour, whatever you kids are into, knock yourself out. But I happen to do tortilla chips here in the house, and this is a great gluten-free, salty version of breadcrumbs, right? And all I'm doing is I'm using my rolling pin and my Ziploc bag to create the crumbs. And this is not that bad with the rolling pin. It's better in the food processor if you're like, you know what, this bag of tortilla chips has been sitting around for a while. I want to get rid of it. Just throw it in your food processor. But the thing is you really want to have fun with the texture that you like now. So if you like that extra crispy, crunchy, yummy deal, make your crumbs a little bit more, you know, chunky. If you like it more fine and refined, like only a chicken tender can be, you know, make sure you drink white wine with your chicken tenders, which might be a good idea at this point, right? You can do whatever you want. I don't care. All we're doing is we're saving food and efficiencies. So now I've got these in the bag, and these are gonna stay in the bag because this is a living, breathing entity in my house. I'm gonna just pour a couple in here, right? Because we're only doing a few. And I'm taking my thing, putting it right here. Now then, you may or may not have a silicone pat for your deal, but if you don't, I just like parchment paper. There's something about the release, it works better, but by all means, you could use a little bit of cooking spray. And notice, I'm not using any egg wash on this because eggs are reserved for breakfast now. You could, if you wanted to, you're a great person, whatever you want to do. Some people might want to do buttermilk. You could totally do buttermilk, but that's get real people. It's not like you ran to the store to get toilet paper and buttermilk, all right? Am I right? Am I right? So I'm just pushing these down. And notice, I'm kind of keeping my raw product contained. Because seriously, the last thing you want to do when you're stuck in the house is get stuck with a foodborne illness, especially with what's going around, right? And then I'm just doing this. It's pretty cool. And I'm doing this, and I'm not wasting anything, you guys. Now is not the time to go, oh, I don't need that anymore. Well, you do need it some more. So I'm gonna do this. This one might be a little naked comparatively, because I don't want to touch my bag. I've got chicken all over it. I got a lump here of chicken. I'm throwing that in there, and I'll show you why in a second. Now then, look at that. How cool is that? I've got this all put to the side. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear coronavirus. Happy birthday to you. Again, paper towel. Dry my hands. Now then, set my oven at 350. I'm gonna throw them in. If you do not have a Lucky Meat thermometer, you know, like us chefs have, you want to make sure your chicken's cooked to 165. But in all seriousness, if you don't have a meat thermometer yet, totally, one, get one. Two, just make sure that's wicked firm, okay? And do that, and you'll be fine. Now then, curry chicken, right? Everybody loves it. Everybody was craving it. I'm taking my knuckle that I had, because I'm gonna do my curry chicken in kind of fun little slices. Look at this. And Jill Ward, I love you. You talked about like making everything stretch. Well, look at this. We have got chicken tenders to take care of 2 kids in this meal, right? And I'm using one other chicken breast. So I'm down 2 chicken breasts, right? And I'm just kind of slicing it off and around. That's a cool thing about like Indian and Asian food. They don't really waste a lot of stuff. So all I'm doing is just kind of doing these fun chunks on this board that still has like all that yummy flavor. And I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Okay. And as I do that now, I'm all set to go. I'm gonna get my pan, start getting nice and hot. Curry is always really simple, stupid, right? Curry is a way of, 1, delicious flavor, 2, preserving the meat, right? So I've just got an onion, and I've got some carrots that I'm cleaning out. I love the carrot shreds for our salads, but I just went and bought regular carrots now. This is at the bottom of my veggie bin, and I hope we're cleaning out our veggie bin on this recipe. You literally can't go wrong with it. I'm just doing these in wheels, right? Wheels. And that is your onion. So I'm gonna emphasize this very stringently. We cook with our eyes and our nose, and we get to taste, but we gotta listen when we cook. I'm not getting any sizzle yet out the pan, so I'm gonna hold tight on that, okay? But I've got, all my hands are pretty nasty, so I'm gonna just kind of massage that and let you know that I happen to have a can of coconut milk. If you don't, by all means, you can do cream, you can do milk, you can thicken it up with a little bit of cornstarch later, a reduction, that's fine. Got some old arugula that I gotta get rid of. I'm the only one that eats arugula fresh, but wilted, it's really good and it's gonna add color. And what's cool is now I've got that, I can hear the sizzle, which is great because it's not the steak, it's the sizzle. And I'm just going to make sure that all of this chicken, right, it's got a spot in the pan to at least get the initial brown. Because whenever we cook anything, we want it to brown first, okay? Because that is the secret to anything good. is searing off that deliciousness so that juices don't get away from you. Now look at this. Here's another trick. I've got a dirty board now, right? I've got dirty hands. We're gonna wash both at the same time. And I've got lots of soap. I'm gonna rinse off any of the big chunks so I don't lose the efficacy of the soap. I'm just doing this. Now then, I know all of you guys are really smart and you're going, oh my gosh, he's using soap. That happens to be a bamboo board. If you're using anything else or that's not as hard, absolutely just rinse it off. People like to bleach. I like to use lemon juice. Both will kill any bacteria. Look at this. I know when this is about ready to turn, when the edges of the chicken turn white. We're almost there. I've got my lovely tongs here, but I'm not going to use that in Teflon because that's a cardinal sin. Got a nice spoon. What's cool is, I'm going to do some, now that my hands are clean, I'm going to shake some of these carrots here too. Seriously, this is a perfect dish for you to seriously clean out all those bits and pieces of vegetables. They're still good. Just because they're pretty, they're not bad. Case in point. And just kind of shake it around, right? Teflon is not, I repeat, not to ever be washed with soap and water. When you do that, all you're doing is filling all those pores of Teflon with soap. And food's not going to glide on soap. In fact, it's going to break down the Teflon and you're going to be in trouble. So you see what I'm doing? There's something always to be done while your food is cooking or searing. I'm putting these in my drawer for the next time the kids come around. Now then, I've got fresh ginger. I'm going to say it and say it again. You can use the ginger that's in your cupboard. I'm just so happy to be lucky to have some ginger. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take this microplane and I'm just going to start shaving it down. Most people like to peel it and whatnot. I'm cool with a little roughage from the root. It's been cleaned, it's yummy. And I'm just doing this. And watch your fingers on these microplanes. I can't express that enough. Your fingers are very important. And you can literally, then what I do is I go around the back side and I just get it like that. And I got a little nub for finishing too. What's cool is I've got my coconut milk. Shake your coconut milk because coconut milk is actually the water of the coconut and pureed coconut, which, hey, remember the shake weight? Which will settle. Especially if you've had it in the cupboard forever and you'll get that big lump, but don't worry about it. It's like sour cream. It's like when you get the water on top, it's all good. And look at that. See, just like on the top I was telling you, it's that glump, but you don't want to lose the glump. I don't even know if that's a word. I don't care. I'm going to rinse my hands again. Now then, tip number 1 from the chef. See how everything's going in a circle? The reason we can flip like this is centrifugal force and bringing the plate to the, or bringing the pan up underneath. That's all we're doing. We're not that cool, you guys. A little practice and you've got all the time in the world, you guys. So this might be a good time to start honing your skills. I'm going to carefully, since I've got the metal tongs, I'm just going around and making sure that that chicken is flipped over each one. You get the majority of them, but you can lose some sometimes. And again, We don't waste anything. If it's on the counter, it's good. If it's on the floor, rinse it off, in my opinion. I don't do that professionally, but in my home, I'm not gonna let it go to waste. So, see what I'm doing, you guys? I'm cleaning as I go. Now then, curry. I don't want any bullying about using curry powder. If you got curry in a jar, great. If you're making your own, awesome, send me the recipe. Curry is just curry right now. When you go out to your restaurants, they're gonna have some amazing curry for you, but right now we're in survival mode, so no judging. So I'm going to, and I use a lot of curry powder, obviously. This isn't like it's an old package. I use a lot of curry, I love it. So I'm just going to do my lake effect on this bad boy again, right? And that's going in. Now then, what you can do is what I suggest is, one, you can put this on a sheet pan and cook everything, and then you've got your chicken for that. Me, I'm gonna take it outside in a little bit once everything kind of like gets room temperature, and I'm gonna throw it on the grill, and I'm gonna grill the rest of this chicken off. Now I've got chicken for chicken sandwiches. Now I've got chicken for the top of the spaghetti, which I was listening. You've got chicken for chicken salad, which we're gonna do tomorrow. We got chicken for everything. 10 pounds of chicken is gonna last you all week for a family of 4. I guarantee it, and just follow me and I'll show you. So look at this, you guys. We got this. I'm doing my roundabout, right? And now, oh, I wish you could smell it. Now, all steamy. Now, that chicken, a little bit of that chicken fat, a little bit of the chicken juices are going around lovely with it. Now, I'm just gonna pour and get the glump out of the can, which is cool. Notice I am consistently tidying up the world, right? And I'm gonna stir this curry. Now then, got a piece of onion. I'll throw that in there. I'm gonna do a little bit more ginger because my nose says I need it. Love it. All right, that's good. That's right with the world. This, if I wasn't gonna cook this right away, I would throw it in a Ziploc bag. I live on Ziploc bags. If you know me, that's the truth. Now then, look at this. The second the coconut milk starts to boil, right, I'm gonna give it another really good stir because now it's going awesome. And I don't know about you guys, but I like a certain shade of curry when I'm using my powders. And so that shade is something that I'm loving right now. And that's brilliant. Now then, your old spinach, your older arugula, get it out. This is the time to do it. I'm throwing it right there. As long as it's not slimy, it's good. It just might not be like the freshest. Of course you could use frozen. Of course you could finally get out that frozen bag that is some crystals of that broccoli. You could throw it in here. You could definitely, right, throw any vegetable you want. Now then, with that being said, I'm turning off and I'm putting it in my oven, right? And I'm smelling the other chicken. Because now, once that chicken is done, you can totally microwave it, put it in a toaster just to heat it up. It's already smelling delicious. I'm gonna stop the video for just a couple seconds. Don't worry, I'll be right back. We're gonna do some magic of, and I'm gonna give you some real cooking times. Right now, it's 4:14 in the afternoon on Friday, TJF, and we'll be back as soon as possible. This episode is dedicated to all the first responders, our police, our fire, all our hospital and healthcare officials that are on the front line. God bless you, and I'll see you real soon with something yummy.